Hello, my name is Sheena, and I am a holistic wellness coach with Rise Wellness. And today I wanted to talk about Gene Key 36. I just got back from hosting a workshop with two of my magical goddess sisters, and it was so yummy and it was so delicious, and we ate vegan food and we ate with compassion and had some food for thought. We had an information session to learn about Gene Key 36. We shared, we laughed, we cried, we ascended. We did ecstatic dance and yoga movement, tapped into the warriors within. We had a sound bath during a guided meditation for a metta prayer, compassion meditation, and sent our healing energy and love and compassion for humanity, for everyone out into the ethers. And we just evolved. Through this awareness, we transmutated our shadows into our light. And it was such a wonderful experience that I decided that I wanted to share it with y'all. I wanted to gift you with some of this wisdom to think about and have this awareness as you come to the end of 2021 and set your intentions for the new year. So, Gene Key 36. This is an amazing path to the 36 gene key, whether or not it's reflected in your hologenetic profile. And you can find your hologenetic profile for free by going to genekeys.com and clicking on your free profile. You will be asked to enter your email address, but your data will not be stored. You will be asked to supply your date of birth, time, and location, because the Gene Keys takes the ancient wisdom of the I Ching and matches it with human design to give you your specific activation code and sequence. So whether or not this gene is in your profile, this gene is called Becoming Human because it's part of your human journey. The present of this gene is collective archetype that covers all of humanity. This present is vibrational codes inside every molecule of DNA, inside every cell, inside every organ, inside every system within us. In addition to this, we all incarnate with different sequences of gene keys that relate specifically to our unfolding destiny. So these gene keys are both individual and collective. And this particular Gene Key 36, the shadow of turbulence, the gift of humanity, and the Siddhi state of compassion, is how we connect with others. This gene is transmutated through our relationships. So even if it's not in your profile, it's bound to come up in someone you know or love. I recently had my best friend come in town to visit, and we pulled up her profile, and wouldn't you know, this is a prevalent one in her journey. The I Ching hexagram for this gene is the darkening of the light. And that might sound ominous on the surface. But what we come to understand about this gene is the darkening of the light is when we go from this luminous bonfire into this little dimly lit candle that stays glowing, that stays burning, even if we have to cup it and hold it and protect it. And that fire is our heart. And that opening is how we deal with turbulence. Do we keep our heart open or do we close it off? If we close it off, do we keep it there? Do we stay disconnected? Do we isolate? Do we self-sabotage? Or do we pause and breathe into a turbulent moment and then come through to the other side of it? When we think of turbulence, we might think of being on an airplane. We hit an air pocket in the sky and the flight attendants come over the loudspeaker and they tell us, take a seat, buckle up. Your oxygen mask is gonna drop if you need it. Your life preservers are available to you should you need it. We're going to weather the storm together. There's a lot of life guidance we get on airplanes, but that's a pretty good one. Because weathering the storm is the human journey. It's dealing with all the unforeseen situations that come our way and navigating them, seeing them through to the other side, and being better people for it. And a shadow frequency, and when I say shadow, what I mean by shadow is, Carl Jung would say, the dark unconscious parts of our being. These are the toxic traits that we have. These are the limiting beliefs that we hold on to. This is the programming that we get. And 95% of our life is run through our subconscious, through our reptilian brain, through our programming. And so by adding more awareness into all of these things, you invite yourself to show up and ask yourself, am I doing this on autopilot, or am I doing this because I want to do this? Are these my thoughts, or are these the thoughts that were passed on to me that I'm still sharing as my own? For every gene, there is a repressed version of your shadow, which would be the inward expression of the gene. Carl Jung would call this the introverted expression of the gene. And there's also an external expression of the gene, the outward expression, the extroverted. So the inner expression of this gene is nervousness. And what's ironic about nervousness is these are the people that are hard to connect with. And these are the people that are riddled with anxiety. And the reason that they have so much anxiety is because they're trying to hold it all in. They think if they don't connect with people, if they don't let it out, that they're doing everyone a favor. That they're keeping small, they're playing small, they're not inviting people in. They're afraid to be vulnerable. The chakra that aligns with this gene key is the solar plexus. The solar plexus, right about the navel, is the I can, I am capable, I am enough, I am worthy. There's a lot of the sacral chakra that comes through in this gene. And there's also a lot of the heart chakra that comes through in this gene. But physiologically, it does tie into our solar plexus. The dilemma of the 36 shadow is overwhelm. Some people just find it really overwhelming to be in a physical body, and I can't say that I blame them. Sometimes it's a really turbulent ride. You do have to buckle up. You do have to have your resources available to you to weather the storm. Those resources might be a close support system of family and friends. Those resources might be your breath work, your shadow work, your journaling, your meditating, your walks out in nature, your yoga movement or dance or song, singing, using that throat chakra to get your voice out and heard. The reason that we have such a collective low vibrational energy of this nervousness is because of our news, because of our media. You don't go on, watch the news and get empowered and inspired and hopeful and optimistic and cheerful. No, they don't share those stories. The stories that you hear make you anxious, make you fearful, make you run out to the store to get all the toilet paper that they have when a storm is coming, because you don't know what's going to happen. And there's this narrative that everyone's going to freak out because it's unforeseen circumstances, unprecedented. So we're constantly bombarded with all of this chatter that it's all going to freak out. There's a reason to freak out. You're going to get sick. Don't talk to this person. They haven't been vaccinated. It's low vibrational fear. And it's no wonder that we get overwhelmed when we're bombarded with messaging that can weaken our immune system. Literally, just all of that fear place can really wreak havoc on our system. And people with the inward expression of this gene with nervousness, if you don't release that nervousness, that wreaks havoc on your nervous system. That ends up in emotional, mental breakdowns, nervous breakdowns. That can manifest as illness, as cancer. Cancer is dis-ease in your body. Humans will want one thing: peace. They just want to feel safe. They just want to know that whatever's happening is going to be okay, that they can make it out to the other side of it. And even with this gene in its shadow, low vibrational place, you still see the gift in it. You still see the Siddhi of compassion come through with it. And the way that you see that is through lust. Lust comes from this gene, and lust is your chemical turbulence as you connect with another. Some people have a negative connotation about lust, but no feelings can be right or wrong. They just are. We just offer judgment to those feelings sometimes. But they're not right or wrong. Now, in someone that is more introverted, that inner expression of nervousness might look like sexual repression, starved creativity, inability to communicate and connect, not owning your story, not speaking your truth, not stepping into your power. Because you're nervous. You're afraid of rejection. You're afraid that one thing that comes out of your mouth is going to disconnect you from humanity. But the irony is that as soon as you speak your truth, you connect yourself to the rest of your brothers and sisters, because someone's always going to say, been there. I'm on the same ride. I've experienced the same hardship. I've dealt with the same turbulence, the same conflict, the same struggle. Youth is so turbulent. Childbirth is so turbulent. Gosh, this gene key is so tied into what I think of childbirth. You know, this unbelievable experience of mother birthing a child into creation. And it's scary. It's terrifying. That child coming into this world through this turbulent experience comes out crying. And yet, all the doctors, the doshas, the mothers, the family, they just wait for that little whimper. They wait for that cry. That cry is music to their ears. That cry tells them that something new has come into this world. They are alive. They made it. They did it. And compassion is that mother holding that child for the first time, connecting with that child, seeing this. I did this. We did this. We did this. That's compassion. If we're lucky enough, we grew up to some conscious parents who helped us navigate puberty. I mean, you go through some awkward years where your voice is changing, maybe, your growth spurts are out of control. You got a face full of acne and awkward teeth. And everything is just uncomfortable. Your body is going through this chemical turbulence. And if you're lucky, you've got someone to tell you that this is perfectly normal, and this is just what it is to be human. This is what it is to grow up, to go through puberty, to transform, to change. The shadow response to overwhelm, to turbulence, is to cave in. It's to shut down. It's to lock your heart off. Disconnect. But suffering by design has only one reason, and it's to crack us open, to shatter us open. And we need that. We need situations that are going to shatter us open, whether we believe it or not. We can't have the good without the bad, the sweet without the sour. This is just the law of cause and effect. Nobody wanted the Twin Towers to fall and all the drama to unfold and war to begin. But on September 12, 2001, united we stand. The whole world came together. No one was more proud to be an American than on that day. Everywhere you drove around, you saw the American flag hanging. You saw people coming together to go through the rubble, go through the bodies, raise funds, pray, congregate. That's humanity. We go through something catastrophic and we don't know how we're going to survive it. So we do the only thing we know how to do, and we come together and we grieve together and we pull our resources together. Humanity really is the most incredible gift of them all. We're all connected to the same source. We might be all having our own unique experiences that shape our human journey, but in our uniqueness, we all find that we're one when we talk about it, when we share it, when we acknowledge it. What's so interesting about this shadow is even that lust, is just that desire to connect with somebody else. So even in the lowest frequency of this gene, there's compassion for somebody else firing off. Someone that has the 36th gift is someone that you go to for advice. Someone that you trust with their guidance and their support. You know, when we said the inward expression of this shadow is nervousness, the outside expression is crisis prone. So you've got some people that their whole life is a soap opera. You know, that lust can manifest into scandals, cheating, affairs, secrets, lies, and then the guilt and shame for those secrets and lies. And that turbulence wreaks havoc. But we all know those people that we can go to that support us no matter what's going on. They offer their guidance, their support with empathy, with compassion. They stay grounded. They help us keep ourselves collected and cool and calm as we're going through difficult times. These people should be treasured. Compassion is divinity embodied in humanity. I love that. Compassion is the seed that exists within turbulence. Humanity and divinity become one with compassion. So every shadow contains a gift, and when you learn this one, and especially when you start with this one, you've got a real advantage because you see the sweetness of the journey. When you see the light in the dark, you know that we're not just here to struggle. Like DMX says, from the wise words of DMX. God rest his soul. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find meaning in the suffering. The 36 gene helps us find meaning in the suffering. And that meaning is connection with others. That meaning is taking ourselves out of the victim mentality of blame and it's the government's fault. It's our parents' fault. It's our ex-boyfriend, our ex-husband's fault. It's someone else's fault. That's just the shadow frequency coming through. I'm just blaming and not taking responsibility. We always have a choice. We have a choice in every single way that we show up. We have a choice in how we process our emotions or how we store the tension in our body. Do we disassociate? Do we numb? Do we distract? Do we make mountains out of molehills? Do we get other people in to our sob stories and make them bigger and more explosive than they already are? Or do we know that every single person on this journey is going to have some shit that tears them up? And we know it's not personal. It's not about just us. It's just about humanity. It's just about the process of being human, becoming human. Literally the name behind this gene, becoming human. You graduate as a human being when you weather the storm. The gift of humanity, I think of moms, especially, all coming together, to just share their parenting stories and struggles. Last week I was the worst mom in the world because I did XYZ. Next mom, oh, you think that's bad? I was the worst mom in the world the week before because I did XYZ. Humanity is the vets coming back after war and playing cards at the VFW. Sharing war stories or not. Sharing energy and knowing that those stories don't need to be retold. You can have compassion by just sharing the space. Compassion is getting in your car after Hurricane Katrina and just driving to New Orleans with all the supplies you can think of. And knowing I just have to help and I don't know how and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I'm going to try to make an impact. I'm going to try to do the best that I can with the tools that I have. That's all I know is I have to help. The quickest way to transform this shadow is to stay open. It's to take the victim mentality of the why me, poor me drama and change it into, okay, this happened. There's got to be a reason for it. There's got to be a blessing in it. There's a lesson in everything. So why wouldn't this have a lesson in it? It's taking your power back. It's saying, okay, plan A didn't work. Let's deal with plan B. What are we going to do? How are we going to navigate this? Let's do it. Let's come together and let's do it. There's a million different ways that we connect with one another. Sometimes it's through our sports team. Sometimes it's through our city. Sometimes it's through our relationships. Turbulence is my puppies that just want to bark and get all the attention right now. Come here. So I could scold her, or I could just know that she's asking me for love, and how could I deny her? How could I deny her love? Compassion creates a wormhole in your suffering to enter deeper into your essence. Such light within you. Compassion is even there in your shadow as lust. The highest manifestation of humanity is compassion. Compassion has no agenda. Compassion is universal love. Compassion is nurture that you often see between parent and child, child to parent. There's no strings attached. It's unconditional. I don't love you because I'm going to get this out of it. Compassion is, I love you because you're human. I love you because you exist. I love you because loving you is what we're here to do. Richard Rudd says in his book that the dream of the dolphin is to be human. I have no idea how somebody could figure that out. But I love that. So next time you're having a shitty day and you think, why me? And being alive sucks and being human is so hard. Just think of the dream of a dolphin. The dream of an entire species is to be in your shoes, doing what you're doing. And that's pretty cool. It's pretty special. When you meet compassion, you meet God in a human being. I love that. I have that experience. That is my experience with compassion. I am lucky enough to know some unbelievable humans that when I see them, I see God. I see the highest expression of what it is to be human manifested in these people that I love and care about. I see their unlimited potential, their divine power, the master creation that is them, and also that is what they bring into the world, what they offer to the world, and will continue to offer with every breath that they give. Every breath that they inhale and exhale and light the way for me, as we all light the way for others. That is being human. That is becoming human. When turbulence and overwhelm shake you up and rattle you and have the potential to destroy everything that you've known about yourself to be true or healthy or safe or peaceful, and that gets absolutely shattered and destroyed and cracked open, and you keep your heart open to it, you learn that your mind can get overwhelmed, but that your heart can't. You might need to take a moment every now and again and pause and just take a moment and reassess the situation and reflect and contemplate. Your flame goes to this little dim, little light. That's okay. You shield it, you protect it, you take it in from the wind, but you keep it lit. You keep your heart lit. You keep your heart open. You don't close it off. You don't disconnect or for long. And then before you know it, your bonfire is back. Your huge flame is back. The light that is you is back. And your heart stayed open and became better for it. When I think of compassion, I always think of Audrey Hepburn. Anyone that knows me know that she's like my absolute soul sister, my forever girl crush. She's just the epitome of grace. The programming partner to the 36 gene is grace, it's tenderness, it's truth. And with compassion, this makes up the ring of divinity, the codon ring of divinity. We are divine. In the highest expression of our human form, we are all of those things: compassion, truth, tenderness, grace. So Audrey Hepburn grew up around the time of World War II, and I've read stories about her when she was starving, so starving that she ate soil. But we don't hear about that. She wanted to be a ballerina, but she was too tall. She eventually got too tall, and that dream was shattered. We don't really hear about that. She went on to succeed in show business, become the face of Hollywood, and had all of these successful movies. And she wanted to be a mother. But she suffered multiple miscarriages. We don't really hear about that. She suffered multiple divorces. We look at this person that epitomizes love and grace and tenderness, and yet she had this catastrophic heartbreak, multiple heartbreaks, and we don't really hear about that. We just hear that she was a pretty face. It's kind of interesting. But I would reckon that she had this deep in her hologenetic profile as a very prevalent driving force to her life. And if she didn't, she certainly connected with it quite a bit. I know I've connected to this gene quite a bit in my life, even though it doesn't ring up in my hologenetic profile. It does in my best friends, my partners. Compassion is keeping your heart open, weathering all of the storms, coming out to the other side, braver, more vulnerable, more capable, stronger, more powerful, more connected, more human. More human. It's not personal. It never was. It never will be. You have a choice. You have a choice with all of this. You have a choice all the time. You can let your heart close. You can disconnect. You can hibernate. You can isolate. You can live on the shadow collective frequency that's so readily available to you. It takes extra effort to not be in that vibration. You know, we're dealing with a worldwide pandemic and COVID this and new normal this and unprecedented times this, and you could get real nervous. You could get real anxious, or you could get real crisis prone. Your life could look like a unfolding soap opera. The choice is yours. When someone cuts you off in traffic, you can flip them off, you can scream at them and swear at them. The choice is yours. You can also just let them go. Maybe they were in more of a hurry than you are. You know, when you go to Target at checkout and the person in front of you is taking forever and then they want to write with a check and yet they don't know how to fill out a check and the line is building and building and growing and growing and you're late and you're late and you're late. You could get mad. You could have judgment. Or you could offer them compassion. Maybe they didn't have the opportunity to buy these things until this moment because they didn't have the money to. Maybe they just moved to this country and they've never used checks before. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. The idea is that everyone is on their own human journey. And we can offer them judgment, or we could offer them our love, our compassion, and trust and know that they are doing the best that they can with the tools that they have. That's what all of us are doing. All of us are trying to prevent ourselves from suffering, however that looks, whatever that looks. Some of us are going on our automatic programming and they're not being mindful and they're snapping and they're irritable and they're charged up and they're triggered, and they can get you activated too. But I invite you to offer yourself compassion in those moments, to re-regulate, to sit down, buckle up, pull out your tools, breath work, journaling, meditating, moving, dancing, singing, reaching out for support. Whatever it looks like for you, whatever your toolbox looks like, I hope you have some tools. And if you don't have some tools, I hope I can help you acquire some of them. And I hope this awareness today can be one of them. This holiday season is tumultuous. It's difficult for a lot of people to gather a lot of different energies in the same place. Maybe these are people that you haven't seen in a year or 2 years or more. Everyone's been going through their own journey, and for some people, we've had the best year of our lives. And for other people, they haven't left their house. They've been unbelievably shut down with fear, disconnected, isolated, depressed, anxious. They might be sitting home watching 8 hours of the news all day. I invite you to offer compassion for everyone on their journey, all living things. And know that everyone's just doing the best that they can with the tools that they have. And maybe today you could offer them a tool, a phone number, a casserole. Sit with them in the dark. Don't even have to say anything, just be there. When we learn about this kind of stuff, when we know that the journey isn't personal, we have the power to create and design our own evolution. And this gene is one of the only genes that you can go from the shadow state to the highest expression of this gene, whoosh, catapult through it, Don't even have to stop at gift, just go all the way here. You can go through that. And what it's going to take is a completely life-shattering, earth-destroying, heart-breaking experience. So if you have this in your profile, you have very, very interesting and adventurous and exciting curriculum on this human journey. And if you don't, it's still unavoidable. It's part of being human. So I love you. I love you so much. I offer you so much love and light and compassion today and forever. And I invite you to, if you can, try to remember how special you are, how important you are, and how there's a lesson in all of your difficult hardships. And once you learn that lesson, you'll never suffer the same way again. You'll never, ever go to such a deep low again. And it's going to connect you with humanity, with your fellow brothers and sisters. And on the other side of that catastrophic, life-changing event, I hope you can offer compassion and love and peace to humanity. Happy holidays. I love you. Namaste.